Welcome to Epic Tales and Critical Fails, a Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remastered podcast. Prepare for adventure, terror, and the occasional use of bad language. We're a rules-light podcast. We don't agonize over the rules because, quite frankly, there's a lot of them, and we will get them wrong occasionally, so be kind. We're also using hero points slightly differently. No one gets them at the beginning of a session. Instead, the players accrue them during the game, and they can have a maximum of 3 at any one time. But if the worst happens, they have to spend them all to stay alive.
I'm Laura, and I play Katarra, a sneaky, stealthy sailor, or pirate, depending on your point of view.
I'm Lucy, and I play Bethilde, landlady of the Wandering Barnacle and grandmotherly gnome.
I'm Mike, and I play Bertie, Bunce, halfling cleric of Pharasma.
I'm Maddy, and I play Minesh Adon, a tempestuous root leshy of death.
I'm Kyle, I play the vastly knowledgeable and cunningly clever Xander Dante.
And I'm Michael, I'm your GM, and I play everybody else. We'd left our intrepid bunch of half-dead individuals, because you quite frankly are walking wounded at this point, after you'd escaped from Drent Thatcheval's villa, very nice villa in a nice part of town in Eastgate, and you had managed to survive an encounter with something called an echotometer, which was Drent Thatcheval reanimated, and having survived that, you are now heading your way back to Barnaby Strucker, armed with information about some insurance fraud and some missing automata and Drent Thatcheval's taste in art, because you have most of his paintings stuffed in a bag.
Not all of us took paintings, I'd just like to point out.
Oh, I did.
More importantly, we have the cursed memories of those statues.
You do, yes, the gnome statues.
Yeah. Money cannot buy class, but it can buy porn.
Porn if it's artistic.
Wasn't artistic. I think it was made with one hand.
Oh.
So, you're going back to Barnaby's shop, and you arrive, it takes you about an hour and a half to get there. Towards 8 o'clock in the evening by the time you make it back. And the door is closed, the sign says closed.
I'll rap on it.
You rap on the door after about 10 minutes, because he's a halfling. He comes down and he's like put his hat back on and he's like,
He's got one of those nightcap things.
Is he wearing a nightgown? Can I see his
No.
ankles?
What time is it?
it's
like
8
8
o'clock.
o'clock.
So he's got
Smoking jacket?
he's wearing a smoking jacket, a nice blue velvet smoking jacket which matches his blue velvet Stetson. No, he doesn't. He's wearing he comes down, he's wearing his normal clothes, and he sort of wanders through. There's dirt on his shirt from where he's been potting plants all day, and he looks at you and he's like, well, that's a surprise to see you lot back here, so...
Has he opened the door, or is he
Yeah,
saying
he's
this
opened the
through
door.
All right.
Why did it take him 10 minutes to get downstairs?
I had to
What
put my
little
shoes
feet?
on. I needed to put my shoes on. I kicked them off at the end of the workday, and I didn't see where they went.
Try not to be rude, Xander.
I'm an investigator, I'm not a bloodhound. He opens
Pleasant.
the door and waves you all in.
Yeah,
And leads you upstairs to the dining room that you met in earlier.
It take us 10 minutes to get up the
No,
stairs.
it takes you 2. You think he was probably just irritated by somebody banging on his door at 8 o'clock at night when he's probably enjoying it, his whiskey.
At
Well-
8 o'clock at night.
Well,
I mean, let's
obviously
face it,
it's-
he's a halfling. He has breakfast, second breakfast, third breakfast, fifth breakfast.
It's upsetting to interrupt your evening, but we've had quite a long day, so...
I mean, it looks like it. You all look the worse for wear. That's to be... Did you guys get into a tavern brawl?
Not exactly.
Well,
Always.
look, let me get some glasses. You lot look like you need some anesthesia. And he gets a load of crystal tumblers and puts them down on the table, starts pouring shots of whiskey for everybody.
I hope that's the best whiskey.
Of course it is.
Katarra just downs it in one, like, super quick.
Wow,
Minesh,
you really needed that drink.
Minesh sniffs it and then drinks.
If I remember rightly, Bethilde had already had quite a few drinks,
Yes.
having already got into the whiskey.
However, the amount of blood you've lost has probably sobered you up.
And Tuppence was carrying you as well.
Yeah, I suppose he is strong. Like, oh, Barnaby, we've been on quite an adventure. Would you like a painting? I brought it just for you.
I'm sure you did. Where did you get said painting?
It fell off the back of a truck.
Oh, really?
Like there was like a cart going past, and this fell off, and I think maybe because there's a hole in it. But I still thought it'd be very nice on your wall. You see, there's a nice space there. We could just put it there.
I'm sure it will be. Just pop it there on the table, and I'll have a look at that. So why are you all looking like you've been doing a few rounds with some of the harshest workers in the docks?
Well, then, it's funny you should say that. You ever heard of an echotometer?
Vaguely. Go on.
It's about the fact that these shouldn't exist. We found more than one. These broken creatures being used in this guy's house.
We also found that chap that we were looking for.
Drent.
Yeah, he's not a chap anymore, though. He's he's dead. But also, he was sort of part machine, part man. It was,
Right.
it was disgusting, and he tried to kill me.
An abomination.
Well, that took a turn for the worse. I was expecting you to find some insurance fraud or something.
Oh, yes, we found that as well.
Oh, great.
And Katarra will hand Barnaby the documents, like the letters, the invoices and everything.
He begins looking through them and he's like, well, that's quite the nest of vipers. So we got a mysterious benefactor, right?
Yes, you seem to be in on it, or at least pulling the strings.
You don't seem that bothered about the twisted wreck that was left behind.
I mean, one, I wasn't there, so the true horror of it is lost on me. But also, secondly, I think that just gives us an important idea. We need to find somebody who's behind these things
Well, speaking of
before
that,
they create too many more.
we did encounter these spider spy things.
Oh, right.
And
About the size of a sort of a football.
give or take.
Yeah.
We managed to rescue one of the gems, so maybe you have a contact who can...
Oh, you want to
perhaps-
find out what's on the gem?
Well,
Oh, that's no problem. We're right here. He walks over to the bookshelf, opens the bookshelf, and you see it's actually the bookshelf opens, and there's a safe behind it. He cracks the safe, opens it,
looking like really carefully
lifts
at
out
it.
the body of one of these automata that you broke earlier, puts it on the table, shuts the doors behind him, and you just hear all of these locks clicking. And then immediately takes the gem off you and puts it in. Roll a perception check to see what's in the safe.
Can I roll
Didn't I have the gem?
Somebody had the gem.
Oh, flicking the gem. I've got to ask, where did you get that?
I have many friends in many places.
Oddly specific.
I mean, quite frankly, these are very good in my line of work. And I've been known to get a few loaned to me occasionally. Having one around to sort of pick up what other people have been snooping on isn't a bad idea.
Plus, he's an investigator, so it's perfectly legitimate.
Roll
Sense motive.
That's
Yep,
it,
go
yeah.
for it.
Could I have tried paying attention to his safe's code while he put it in?
Roll a perception check.
That's what I was doing as well, or Katarra was doing, and I rolled a 23.
23.
I also got 23.
23. You both noticed that the safe is magically locked. It doesn't actually have a code. He actually puts his hand on it and rotates his palm, and it's the contact with Barnaby's handprint that seems to open the safe.
So
you also notice
we need to cut Barnaby's hand off.
you also notice that the contents of the safe largely seem to be picture frames.
Art
You like
collector as
that
well.
picture, then?
Like small picture frames, large picture frames, a variety of them. There looks like there's papers in there, but most of it seems like things that you would normally see out on the side in a house. Small pictures with fold-out supports at the back. There's a clay figurine that looks like it was made by a child. There's various other bits and pieces in there that you would normally you would expect to see them out on the side. There's nothing explicitly valuable that jumps out at you. He shuts the door, and he comes back and he puts the gem in, and you just hear your own voices.
First thing it recorded was when it saw us.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Well,
Yeah, these things record an hour onto these gems, and obviously it was left there with instructions of record anybody who came into the house, which was you.
That's helpful. We went through broken windows for that.
In fact, the first 5 minutes of it seemed to be slurping snail noises.
Oh, yes, you haven't seen Beauregard around, have you? He's run off.
No, I haven't seen him.
Remember, Katarra, like, if we had to destroy these things and jump through the window, someone would know that we were in the house right now. So, not too
know,
bad, all things
but-
considered.
Probably
Maybe there
okay.
was that nosy neighbour, although we did do a good job of getting rid of her.
Yeah.
No.
well,
You did a good job of alerting her.
I was pumping her for information. That's what it's called. I've heard in the trade.
we didn't take care of her in a way you may interpret, Barnaby, but the guards did turn up as we were leaving, so there may be some inquiries.
Take care of it at all.
We might have
She just
damaged
left.
her hearing. If that.
It's okay. We
True.
were amazing professionals. You could tell I've done this before, and
I give Barnaby a very kind of knowing glare of like,
we strongly managed to convince her that we were debt collectors.
Amazing. I'm sure that this went down really well. So, what's your plan now?
I think we need to rest.
Well, I think that's a given.
Would you like to go for a pint at the Wandering Barnacle? I know you were quite disparaging when we last talked about it, but maybe you've come around now. You've spent some time with you, with me, and then and Beauregard, and of course you know how delightful I am. So you can imagine just how wonderful the Wandering Barnacle would be.
do that on one condition. Do you have a scroll of silence?
Maybe there's plenty of things in my basement.
Oh, that's not worth the risk. Where's the best place to stay?
Depends on your actual sort of
Financial situation.
Yeah, your financial
I mean, it
situation.
would be very free. The Wandering Barnacle. You could pay me later.
I mean,
What the hell does that mean?
Won't you earn some coin?
Oh, thank God.
I slide Bethilde my shot of alcohol.
You can't just neck it.
what is so after you've rested, regardless of whether
I needed
it's
that, thank you.
regardless of whether it's at out in Eastgate, you could go to the Lazy Mule.
I think Eastgate's best avoided.
You could spend some time up in the Wise Quarter, but you're probably going to be crowded out by students.
Can I roll to kind of understand what type of tavern this Wandering Barnacle is?
Roll a society check. Do you all intend to go after this mysterious benefactor then, or are you just giving me the information and away we go?
Oh no, I would presume that our business is not yet concluded and that we need to see the end of this trail, wherever that may lead.
Excellent. That's great. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 3 and my society is 0.
You have never heard of the Wandering Barnacle.
But you have that in common with a lot of people. So I wouldn't stress too much about it.
I mean, I think that one of the reasons that we came here is that if we gave you the information that we'd found, some of it might sort of ring a bell, and it might be something that you knew that could help us find the mysterious benefactor.
Well, I think it's pretty clear cut from reading the guy's journal.
You read that very quickly.
I skimmed to the last entry, and it said, mysterious benefactor followed him to the Grizzly Fair in the Precipice Quarter. So I kind of think that's a big red X marks the spot kind of moment.
Never
That
been
was
to
the
a
plan,
fair.
admittedly.
Do you have a map? Do you know anything about it? What do you know about the Grizzly Fair? Can I do a roll to see if I know anything about
Roll
the
a
Grizzly Fair?
society check.
You're
now,
talking awfully fast, Bethilde. I think that
Oh,
alcohol's
Kind of
going
also
to your
mentioned
head.
about the Grizzly Fair, yeah.
now, I seem to remember that we were doing a favour for you and you were going to help us with the dreams. Now, we seem to have done you part of a favour. Is there any update on helping us with why we came to you?
I have made some inquiries, and I'm hoping to hear back with some context tomorrow. I've also had another thought. If you can remember any distinctive features about this ship of yours, or ships, depending on whether it's the same one, perhaps you could try the Absalom shipping registry. Keep a list of all different types of boats. If the boat's gone down, a lot of you said there was fire and sinking things and cannons and whatever else, at which point Tuffman says, where'd the cannons come from? Did I miss something here?
I'm not sure, Tuppence, and I presume that the shipping registry's at the docks.
You'd probably have to go see somebody about that. I could find you somebody.
Yes,
Sinking ship isn't massively uncommon in these parts. So.
No, but it would narrow it down to those that aren't accounted for.
I do remember it being very wet.
But
That doesn't really surprise me with a ship.
it felt in my dream like I was on the ship. So what makes you so certain that this has happened in the past and we're not dreaming of something yet to happen?
Well, I'm working on the basis that there's some kind of evidence pointing to a dream being something of the past, but I have some contacts that I'm reaching out to, the Temple of Desna being one of them, to see what they make of it in a more prophecy kind of vibe. Look, I deal with evidence.
I mean, I've never been on
It's
a
important
ship.
to know as well.
Me either.
My dream
I
doesn't start
I've
on a
never been
plan
on
on
a
ship.
ship
starting
either.
It
that
doesn't
now.
start with me. I'm just watching someone. So we seem quite certain on the ship. Is that the right route to go down?
Well, that's the thing that links all of you together. It's the ship.
I'm pretty certain now I don't want to be getting on any ships anytime soon.
We weren't
Oh,
planning to.
You're missing out. Being on a ship is amazing.
Clearly, hence why you're on land with us.
Not by choice.
What did
Maybe
you
they
do?
made her walk the plank. I've heard that's a thing that ships do.
25 in society, by the way.
25 society
I
and
had a nat 20
Nat 20.
for 28.
you both know, and Bethilde, you know a few more of the details, that in 4698 AR, which is at this point 27 years ago now, Absalom was struck by an earthquake that devastated the district known as Beldrin's Bluff. Now, Beldrin's Bluff was on the southeastern cliffs above the docks and overlooked the docks. It's on the opposite side of Absalom to the puddles. The neighborhood was devastated by the earthquake and became pretty much an urban wasteland within an hour. Blighted magics were released from underground. Whole sections of the quarter were torn off and thrown into the sea. And the towers, the wizard's towers that Beldrin the wizard built, the ivory towers that he built on top of the cliff, 2 of those fell into the ocean. And since then, there's been various attempts to reclaim the district. All of them have failed, either because criminal elements like it, because they are out of sight and they tend to sabotage those things, or because there's supernatural phenomena that pretty much proliferates in that district. The Grizzly Fair was originally a project called the Wonder Fair, which was intended to rejuvenate the quarter. It was done within the first sort of 6 or so years after the disaster. However, there were a series of lethal collapses and bloody accidents, and the fair was abandoned half-finished.
So, whatever's happening in this area, this is after, it's like having like a lingering effect of like general badness.
Yes. Yeah. You do know that there's very few people who live there now. Anybody who could left. Anybody who stayed fell prey to paranoia, bloodshed, violent mobs, dark cults. It turned into it turned pretty much overnight into a place that it was just a living nightmare. It's populated by undead, populated by ghosts. It's haunted. The only 2 real centers of population there of the living tend to be the Spiral Shrine, the Temple of Pharasma, and the Knights of Last Rule, about 8 years ago now, arrived and took up residence in Vigil's Hope, which is a repurposed repurposed guard barracks. So they are there as well. But other than that, the quarter is pretty much abandoned.
They built the Wonder Fair with a view to like better, and then it kind of
Mm-hmm.
Spooky
Didn't-
accidents.
didn't quite
Yeah.
open and happen because
Yeah.
bad things kept happening.
They were attempting to do what they did in the Wonder Vale in Eastgate. In Eastgate, there's these flying towers and all sorts of other beautiful architectural designs that was pavilions and fairs that occurred after Adon's death that lifted them after their patron god had died, lifted the city after the patron god had died. And this was the purpose, but it never got off the ground, and it's half built.
Who built the Grizzly Fair or the Wonder Fair? 'Cause
It,
if somebody went to go and make it better, who was it?
it was the Grand Council of Absalom. It was their project. So they hired a range of different contractors and different builders. Anybody they could get their hands on who they could convince to go into this quarter. And it was the attempt to breathe new life into it, and it failed.
I feel like it is somebody actually trying to make it better as opposed to somebody trying to capitalise on the kind of ill spirit of the place.
You have no doubt that there was probably people who tried to capitalise on it and undercut things or stump up prices for demand, but it was intended to be bright and a bright, inviting fairground that would push back against the dark kind of
Revitalise the
Yeah.
entire area, but obviously
to push back against the dark kind of view of the district that the city had developed. It was very much to kind of to create jobs, to get people back in the district.
It was a rebranding exercise.
Basically, yeah.
When has gentrification ever failed? I mean, Jesus.
So just jog my memory. In the diary that we found, how long has the squat, whatever he's called, been missing. When was his last diary entry compared to how long it's been?
He's been missing for a week.
Okay, so if he went to the Grizzly Fair and with all the ghosts and ghouls and whatever else there, we can assume that we're probably looking for a body if we go looking for it.
Well, or that he's at the Grizzly Fair. No, is the mysterious person at
the mysterious benefactor. So Drent Thatcheval followed the mysterious benefactor to the Grizzly Fair.
So yes,
on the 12th of Saranith, 4725. So about a month ago.
So we assume that the bad person or the mysterious benefactor,
who was said to be an elven gentleman,
could arguably come from that. At least not necessarily the Grizzly Fair. But, like, if all of these bad things are happening and they're all tied to this person, then the person's probably coming from this bad area. Which was, what's that area of the city called again?
Precipice Quarter.
Probably assume that the bad person, the mysterious strangers and the... is in the... Precipice Quarter.
They're probably using the Precipice Quarter as, like, a base of operations.
Probably don't actually stay there for most of the time.
Well, if you were going to try and hide a load of automata that you'd stolen, you're a pretty good shout.
Well, I feel like it's obviously clear that this place is full of unsavoury characters and somebody potentially incredibly dangerous. So we all need a nice pint and a nice evening's rest on some straw, mostly whole beds. I mean, we now have sheets. In the Wandering Barnacle.
Are they
it's a whole new thing. It's like you don't just sleep on a mattress. It's very good.
Are the sheets clean?
Supposed to clean them? I'm fairly sure they were like you use them.
Xander's head is in his hands.
They just fall apart and you get another one.
Well, if you plan to go to the Precipice Quarter and hunt for this guy, this elven gentleman, I believe I can help you a little bit with that. He hops off his seat, wanders through into the next room, and comes back a couple of minutes later with a chest that he hefts up onto the table, flips it open, and he's like, I think you might need these more than I do right now, and I can always get more. So here's 4 minor healing potions, 1 gecko potion, don't use it too sparingly, and 1 lesser antidote, and if you really want, I'll throw in some lice spray.
Some what spray?
Lice spray.
Lice?
Yeah, for those sheets.
You just said that was a gecko potion.
Yep. Makes your hands really sticky and climb up
I thought
walls.
it turned you into a gecko.
No, it makes you climb like a gecko.
Oh, Barnaby, thank you so much for looking after us. I know that you'll take good care of us. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't want to see us go into danger. I mean, we've already had a terrible time already.
You look really beat up, and I find that more alarming than anything else you can say, because you look really good in the...
Thank you.
You were all pretty amazing in the old Grand Bazaar, and now you come back looking like you done 10 rounds with a giant.
Well, it was quite a giant automaton or whatever it was.
Well...
Ecotomaton.
It seems like if somebody is pulling people apart and reassembling them with some clockwork, we should probably find out who that is.
And put a stop to it.
Yeah.
I mean, would you like to join us, Barnaby, for a short drink?
I'm afraid I have another appointment that's come in, so I'm going to have to leave.
Well, another time.
He's also rather busy looking for the things we've asked him to look for.
Yeah. In fact, that appointment is to do with that.
Okay, so you'd like to talk? So you're going to talk about our dreams, and we'll have a pint. Okay, let's all go. You seem very busy. Thank you for the nice little trinkets and things. It'll be very good.
It's a pleasure, and if I see you, Snail, I'll tell him
Thank you.
to come home.
And if you're not using that lice stuff, then maybe we could put that on the sheets. Now I know that's a thing.
That's the best thing I've heard all day. I take one of the lice potions.
Barnaby leads you downstairs. He hands you a lice potion each, and then he's like, "Well, I usually use them for killing, blighters that eat your crops and things.
Wait.
So be careful
You
with
say
how
blighters that eat your crotch.
crops.
Okay.
Do I drink the
Yes.
potion or do I put the potion on the bed?
You put the potion on the sheets."
Okay, good. I'm glad
Yeah.
I asked.
And Eddie sort of waves you all out the door. He's like, "Well, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to my next update."
See you soon.
Yeah, please keep a handle on the octogenarian.
We are trying.
There's nothing anyone could
I get that feeling quite a lot.
Unless you can find us a scroll of silence.
I will do my best.
Please.
Or like an invisible leash spell. I don't
Come
know.
along, come along. I'm sure the beer's getting warm.
Are you okay to walk?
Quite
or do you need
excited to see
tuppence
this
to
place.
carry you again?
Oi, Gov, I'm not a taxi service.
I know you're not, but equally we don't really want her just wandering.
Right, and he just fireman lifts Bethilde and just carries her down.
Woohoo!
I know where we're going. Come on, guys,
Look at
follow
those
me.
strong thighs.
I have... Do I? I mean, my thighs are actually quite small, really, because I'm a lizard.
Small and strong.
Wiry.
Onwards. Noble steed. Ho, ho, ho.
Great. Thanks, Gov.
I owe you a drink.
You owe me more than that. And they wander off down. You cross the... you leave the coins, you head towards the puddles, and you find your way to the Wandering Barnacle, a ramshackle-looking pub that, Xander, to your horror, you wonder if you sneezed on it, would it fall over? But then everything in the puddles seems pretty run down. You pass lean-tos that have been assembled on the roofs of some of the buildings where the floodwater has risen so high. There are bridges, simple planks, sometimes ropes, other ways of crossing between the rooftops that allow you to make your way across the district. Locals are punting in little kind of puddle boats up the river.
Are they
Used to be
paddle-
streets.
Are they paddleboarding?
Yeah, some of them are.
As we kind of approach Xander looks completely. This place is abyssal. You call this a pub? It's hardly a shack.
Would notice, though, that it looks very slightly better than the other places you think. Is
Hold
this
on,
the
hold on.
best place in this
Hold on, real
street?
quick, before we continue. Does it look better than the rest of the streets in the street?
Remarkably, yes, it does actually. And as you say that, you see a guy in a gondola go punting down the street with his boater hat on, going, "Well, in the moon, it's your eyes like a big puddle pie. That's the brine smell." And he just keeps going.
I have noticed the spell, unfortunately.
It's delightful, isn't it? Oh, yes, the lovely smell of bilge
I
in the evening.
look in my coin purse, see all the coins I've got to my name, and I think, fine, okay. Please, lead ahead. Show us the inside of the Wandering Barnacle.
Out of character question, does the puddles lead into the sea?
Yes.
Okay, so as we walk past, Katarra will toss a gold coin into the water as an offering to Besmara.
Why the hell have you done that?
Coin.
Why
Did you do a perception check to see if I did that?
You flip a gold coin into the water without even looking, and it just goes...
Perception check was 19. How does that do?
You notice a gold coin flying through the air and dropping into the water.
Why the hell have you done that?
The Lady Besmara demands.
We also need money.
Don't you demand something more reasonable, like a copy?
You always give a share to Besmara if you want good fortune.
Yeah, she gets really...
And yet you're here, so clearly it's not working.
I mean, she's not dead, so something's working.
Yes,
Despite your best efforts. So no, it's
I'm
not
not
working.
trying to kill anybody.
let's not argue.
You're not trying to keep safe either.
That's why I have all of you to help me stay safe.
Up and sets you down and is like, "Lady, look, this is a shield. This is a hatchet. They're designed to mean...
This is a knitting needle.
I know.
This is a spoon. I thought we were showing ourselves things.
No, I'm
This
explaining...
is a button.
I'm explaining to you that these are meant to be between you and the danger.
Yes, you shouldn't go running headfirst into danger. That's my job and Tuppence's job.
I was not running headfirst. I followed the trail. It's not my fault that you were lingering behind.
To deal with the issue that came up.
Well, I found an issue that came up, and it was a big scary bloke.
And you went without backup.
Well, I thought you were behind me.
Well, we did arrive. The backup did arrive.
Exactly.
Perhaps a little too late.
I mean...
I'm still
Perhaps
here.
not
You're
too
still
early.
here. We're all still here.
Tuppence opens
Bismarck's
the door.
happy with a coin. Let's all go and have a drink. Come
Tuppence
on.
opens the door and walks in.
So you'd go in, and it's kind of like, what's the one in Tangled, the fluffy duckling,
Oh,
or
Yeah.
Is that called the cuddly duck or something?
cuddly duckling or something like
Yeah.
that. That one.
No copyright infringement is intended.
So
It's too
so,
late now.
So it's
The
kind
Disney
of like,
snappers are looking at us through the scope.
I have a dream.
yeah, it's just one guy with one tooth in the corner just singing that to himself. It's like that kind of vibe. Like everybody sort of
If he's
turns to
singing
look
that,
at
I'm
you.
going to walk up to him. Shh.
But it's like, despite it being full of like obviously really unsavory characters, there's something kind of nice and warm about it. You know, everybody kind of looks happy. Nobody's fighting. Nobody's being stabbed, which you think is probably quite unusual for this bunch of people. The bar looks almost tidy. There's a jar on the counter of something that could have been pickled onions. It's certainly floating in a jar. And despite being kind of slightly concerning looking, there's still a warmth about the place. And as soon as Bethilde walks in, like, everybody like just sort of looks really happy to see her. Like these sort of like big, really like burly dudes that look really terrifying are just like, oh, Bethilde!
So it's a place where everyone knows your name.
Yes. Oh, that's my joke. Oh no.
Oh, no.
I said it in one of the previous sessions whether the Wandering Barnacle is somewhere where you go where everyone knows your name.
Yeah.
You stole my joke.
It's not who said it first, it's who said it loudest.
Go back to the recording.
Tuppence walks into the bar and high fives a woman in a long coat who's sat there with her feet up on the table drinking from a tankard. Shirt's faded to grey, should have been white, and it's like, hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. And just keeps walking. Oh, Jeff. I haven't seen you in a donkey's years. How you going with that? Yeah, you worship Bismarck any longer, Jack? And then he's just wandering around the park. He seems to know a few people here.
Oh, Skull Crusher, lovely to see. How's that foot doing?
I was doing very well, thank you.
Oh, did the poultice help?
It did.
Yes, be a good...
Made my testicles swell.
Oh, yes, I mean, that will happen. I did tell you not to eat it. You're supposed to apply it to your foot. But never mind.
I thought it was for ingestion only.
No, that's not very good for you. Never mind. Have an extra half on the house.
Okay.
I'll wash it down.
Right.
You do notice in the corner there's a sunflower Yaleshi. He's like,
You don't want to talk, you don't want to talk to that one. You don't talk to that one. He's not right.
Do you want me to get rid of it for you?
I mean,
It.
I've seen you face some pretty scary things, but you don't want to talk to the sunflower.
he's currently playing dominoes with another guy.
And we're
I
not
think they're winning.
They were made out of another Leshy, those dominoes. Just don't go there.
And plus, we're not in the best fighting shape.
Okay, everybody. Oh, come on, Bill, get us all a pint. Look at my friends. Let's all have a seat.
Bill wipes out a tankard and is like, it's Bert.
Oh yes, sorry.
Yep,
Yes,
that's my name, I'm Bert.
Do you have a high turnover of staff?
No, I knew it was a B word. It was like a Bill or a Bert or a Bob or something like that. I don't know.
He slides a shot of fire whiskey across the bar towards Bethilde, looks at you and goes, normally she's not sober long enough to worry about names.
Okay, pint of whiskey.
Okay.
Pint of whiskey.
You're going to need that gold back.
Pushes it across
It's all on the house.
Oh, so it is on the house.
No,
Yeah.
the room is. Never said anything about drinks.
It's okay. They're opening a tab. Just write it all down.
I'll keep a tab for them. Okay, don't worry, boss.
Okay, thank you.
And so you all get a
He just sort of
drink.
touches her nose as yes. Bert, go on.
You all get a drink, and what is your plans for this evening? Are you retiring? Is there a planning? Are you hiding?
What time of day is it now?
At this point, it's about 9:30.
Oh, that's well past my bedtime. Come
Oh,
on.
Bertie, come on, let me show you the room. It's just this way. Yes. And Bethilde's going to sort of like give you like a key with like a little fob on it that says like Wandering Barnacle, and and sort of send you to a room. And there's like a okay room with a bed that does indeed have a sheet, and she gives you like an inch of a candle.
When you give me the candle, I'll give you back the bottle of whiskey that I stole from the house, and
thank you.
This should help you keep the rest of the group satisfied, I guess. Although it might disappear
thank
quickly
you,
at this
Bertie.
rate.
How thoughtful! You are a delight. I'll tell you what, just for that, I'll let you have a pillow. Here you go.
Earn a pillow.
So she just sort of brings you out a little sort of like flat, squishy pillow thing.
This pub really is living up to your explanation of how good it was. It's lovely.
It was.
It is.
Yes. Just for you, I'll see if there's any. I'm fairly sure I saw a flower downstairs somewhere, so maybe we'll put that in your room tomorrow. Would that be nice?
Please
Do you mean the lotion? You're going to kidnap the sunflower lotion?
I think you warned me about that flower earlier.
Oh yes, no, not that one. Okay. Anyway, have a nice night, and if anybody scratches at the door, don't let them in. Night.
I push some whatever furniture is in the room.
There is a chair.
There's a rickety chair you push up and lean against the door handle, and you're like, what have I let myself in for?
And I, before going to bed, obviously pray to Pharasma and think about the challenges that lie ahead tomorrow.
Mostly chaperoning Bethilde.
And at some point in the night, whereas you're sort of starting to fall asleep, you hear like heavy footprints outside your door, then stop outside your door, and like a small scratching noise, and then it just sort of like goes away.
I hold my breath and wait for it to leave.
You put your sheet over your head.
Yeah. If I can't see it, it can't see me.
Did you put the lice potion on the sheet before you put the sheet over
Oh no,
your
you
head?
didn't say it. You forgot.
I forgot.
You're never truly alone in that room now.
I was too sleepy to remember.
So do you all retire for bed at one stage or another?
Xander's going to walk up to a table. He's going to kind of flick on a nearby candle.
There's only
He's
two
gonna
and a
Second
half.
candle.
I'm going to steal a nearby candle, flick it on, and I'm going to kind of pull out a pen from into existence. I'm just going to start messing around into his spell book. Whilst I'm doing this, it's like almost kind of it's like quite meditative. Can I look back, recall knowledge, look back on the day, and see if there's any kind of clues or any kind of points that are missed which are connected?
Yeah, roll Arcana, crafting, cultism, perception.
Can I roll a stealth check just to appear behind Xander and just like lean over and see what he's doing?
Go for it.
That's 22.
22. Thinking back through the day, it's difficult because there's a lot of information that makes sense, but at the same time, you keep coming back to the echotometers. An insurance fraud scam, stealing automata from warehouses, okay, not run of the mill, but it makes sense. It has logic to it. It's a theft, and they're making money out of it. You can see why people would do it. But why the echotometers? Why do that? You've read about plenty of people and have heard stories in many bars across Avestan about those individuals who've have finally run out of kind of usefulness to their boss or to some other gangster and have eventually just been found at the bottom of a river. But why do this to people? It's cruel. It's hideous. And it speaks of somebody who is determined to inflict incredible amounts of pain. Doesn't make sense. They got away with it. What was the risk? What was the threat? You're mulling it over and you're thinking it over, and you remember something Barnaby said in the Grand Bazaar. He talked about footprints. Slender, like an elf or a woman. Heavy tread, like a dwarf or somebody who's carrying some weight or armor. But without a tread like a boot, so not a shoe print. But didn't have toes either, so it wasn't a footprint. And then you start thinking about the blood trail and the way it swept through the house. You track back from there to the entryway, to the porch. And the vaguest thing that you didn't pick up at the time, a set of slender, featureless footprints that led from the door into the hallway to the front door of the villa. Whoever was there at the market, the magic that you've found, and now this vague memory of in your periphery, you caught sight of just one or two of these footprints. Whoever was at the market who set that brewer loose was also the one who did those things to those people in that villa. what their game is doesn't make sense.
I kind of moment where he realises that there was the footprints that he couldn't recognise initially. It's like a full-on Eureka. He kind of like he stops writing and he's like almost slaps his head in frustration. I can't believe I missed that. That would have been really helped me out.
What was your stealth check?
24.
You are standing behind Xander without him noticing.
Standing there?
No, I'm just like, what? I'm just looking at what he's doing and just like, reading his notes as he's writing them.
In the spellbook, you see him kind of there's a lot
of decks.
There's a lot of kind of symbols which you probably don't recognise, and
like
there's a couple. Yeah.
Wow. She's been on a ship her entire life. I'm pretty sure she knows what they look like.
Don't know what to make of that. How dare you? I know my way around a deck.
Look, there's plenty of wood on the
I didn't say
ship.
I knew my way around one. I said I've seen them.
Oh, sorry, you know your way around a deck.
Tuppence appears and he's like, look, there's plenty of wood on the ship.
Tuppence, you can't see me.
Okay, so you look down and you see like a bunch of symbols which you don't really recognise, and a couple which you may do kind of more understandable symbols for water in general. And then you see
just wavy lines.
Yeah, little wavy lines. And then you see little kind of specs being put on. And basically you can kind of piece together that Xander in his kind of meditative state is putting a spell into his book.
I'm sure just lean down and go, what you up to there, Xander?
God, what are you doing? He closes the book. How long have you been there?
Long enough.
What do you want to see? He like hugs his boot, keeps it closed. Why? What did you want to see? What are you after?
Just curious.
Stands up and goes to his room.
Oh, before you go, I've got some soap and some towels. You seemed very concerned about your cleanliness earlier.
Yeah, she did rob them out the bathroom in Drent's house.
Completely forgot about that. I thought it was just a weird offer.
I've got some soap and towels.
Do you want to hear about a deck?
Should we have a bath?
He stops, turns back around. He starts rather reluctantly.
Yeah, so I hand him a bar of soap and a towel.
I mean, raiding that cupboard came in handy, Gov.
Oh, yes. Well, have to look your best when you're going into battle.
Of course.
If you
But takes the soap, takes the towel. It's like, I do really appreciate that. Bethilde, do you have any wash facilities?
Yes. There's a shared bathroom upstairs.
Oh no!
It's at the end of the landing. It's the one with the small hole in the door.
There's what?
There's like a very small hole in the door.
A whore in the door.
No. Just the whole paints a picture already of what this establishment is like.
No, it's in case somebody gets stuck in there.
Someone else got stuck in there before.
Who can see that they're there?
You can at the very least use the towel as a sheet. If you do not
I
wish
told you,
to.
we've got sheets now.
Not clean sheets.
Maybe you could use the sheet to cover up the door of the bathroom and the towel to sleep under.
Why have I never thought about that? That's a great idea. I was thinking at some point of putting like a little hatch thing, but then it kind of negates the point of having a look hole, looking through the hole, thing.
Wow.
I think I've had too many whiskies.
You should go to bed.
Xander just
So if
scurries away to bed.
If you did look at, if you were like, I'm going to give this bathroom a look at, it is only like a small hole in the middle of the door that you can see through. But there's sort of like there's like a table with like a bowl on it, and like a
Keys
cup,
inside.
a cup with some like water, and then there's like a tin bath on the floor with that's sort of full of like water,
Dirty water.
water, and you're like, damn, I wish I'd had the first bath of the shared bath. Yours is a shared bathroom, as in like a shared bath room.
Xander starts walking to his room. He never actually asked which one was his room. So he walks up to a random one, kind of stands outside, and unsurely kind of starts like lightly tapping, and then he hears someone's, and he kind of just leaves it alone and moves on.
Well, as a wizard, I'm sure you can conjure water. So
So I would have given you like a key.
Does prestidigitation get me that, or
I have no idea. You'd have to
Takes
look
the
at the spell.
scum layer off the top.
oh, that's a shout. At the very least, it can heat it up slightly.
You can sterilize it by heating it.
Yeah. So
So one by one, Bertie retires to bed, Xander retires to bed. Katarra, you spend most of the evening in the bar drinking.
yeah.
Minesh, what are you doing?
Minesh is at a table.
Playing dominoes against the sunflower
No,
leshy.
on the opposite side of the room to the sunflower leshy. And Minesh has taken out the ink and some writing paper, and she is writing.
Can I stealth to see what Minesh is up to?
leave us alone.
Cozy.
Right, so I can see the rest of it. On the opposite side to the sunflower leshy, my back is to a wall,
just imagine,
and
like,
I can
sliding
see
against
the
the wall.
entire. I can see the entire pub. So can I please roll something?
Roll a stealth check, and this is against.
Under the table.
Yeah, under the table.
This is a
Am I rolling something as well?
no. This is against your perception DC.
Oh, that
which
wasn't
is
very
17.
good though. 16.
You see her
No,
coming
hang on.
from a while.
Yeah, 8
She
and
just
8 is
sort of, like,
16, yeah.
shimmies up along the wall, and he's like standing right next to you, looking at you. It's really obvious.
You have an uncomfortable moment when you realise Katarra is right next to you, having just kind of crept along the wall slightly, and it's almost embarrassing that you thought she was stealthier than that.
Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Can I help you? No. Can you get away from me? You're right next to me. You're right next to me. You're breathing on me. It's really weird.
Are you just like, have you like, you're right up against you? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? What you got
That's what
there?
I'm
What you got there?
imagining.
To be fair, Katarra wouldn't be
that?
breathing on.
That's why your stealth is so bad.
Katarra wouldn't be breathing on Minesh because Katara's taller than Minesh and Minesh is sitting down.
That's the problem. You're leaning over.
Yeah, you
just
got
like-
seen.
Your mouth's right next to her, like, ear? If you have an ear hole? I don't know.
Sure.
You give up the ghost
that
and,
Minesh?
and decide to go back across the room to continue playing dominoes with Bonnie.
Not the sunflower leshy.
No, the sunflower does seem to be avoided by most people other than this one person he's been playing dominoes with all night.
Smart. Stay away from the sunflower leshy.
You, all of you eventually get a night's rest. There's plenty of time, so you would have done some healing as well, so you would all be back at full hit points. The following morning, you rise to all gather downstairs. Bert has cooked a meager breakfast that is a few fried rashers of bacon and an egg.
A singular egg.
A singular
A single egg.
Yep,
An
to go
egg
with
with, like-
the 2 candles.
An egg that's got like 4 yolks. They don't quite look right. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what egg that is. I don't think it's a chicken's egg.
Minesh just leaves.
Leaves the tavern or just leaves breakfast?
Leaves the tavern, leaves breakfast,
Aw.
and tries to find some other food outside on the roof, maybe?
Like some
Go
moss.
outside. Across the street, over one of those rickety wooden bridges, there's a guy with a small cart who's frying hot dogs.
I'm vegetarian.
He's like, "Don't worry, I can do a veggie dog."
Minesh just turns around, scowls, and walks off.
You do notice that he starts throwing them on, and you can smell them. There's definitely veggie dogs over there as well.
Just plant or soil will be fine.
You turn around, and there is moss all over the roof of this building.
Damn, I need that gecko potion. Can I just find some soil and go back?
You would be hard pressed to find soil in a flooded district.
Didn't you get some soil from Barnaby the first time?
Oh yeah, you did. You did get something. From
I
Barnaby.
did.
See, this is why we take notes, people.
I think you asked him for some. I don't think he gave you a sack
No,
of soil to carry
No,
around.
I think he definitely gave you something.
I think it was a jar of dirt.
He gave you a jar of
'cause
dirt.
It was
did
a
he?
jar of
Okay.
yeah.
Can I just snack on the jar of dirt?
You sit there snacking on the jar of dirt outside the Wandering Barnacle, feeling very sorry for yourself.
Like a popcorn bucket.
Xander can see it through the window. He's looking at the bacon and the quadruple egg. It's like, Maybe. Maybe the soil's a good idea. No.
Would you like a pancake? The chocolate chip. And she sort of like does like the air quotes.
Okay with the bacon, thank you.
I mean, they're probably...
That's not bacon.
What the hell's there? What is
That's oh, never mind. You don't want to know.
Fried rat.
I chuck it away. I hear it kind of, and it comes back.
You do know that's misrepresentation. Well, if the menu says bacon...
I
There's a
never gave
menu.
you a menu that said anything. If someone gave you a menu that says bacon,
Well, there was
I'd be
a
concerned.
disembodied voice that said there was bacon.
Oh yes, no, that's just the ghost. Take no notice of him.
Right. Yeah. Look, I mean,
You've just
I've
told
got some
Bertie
ship's
that there are
biscuits.
ghosts.
I've got some ship's biscuits.
Oh, those are disgusting.
Better
Tony.
than nothing.
I heard that they're
true.
very good if you have
Shingles.
I made it. Oh, I suppose,
Lyme's
yes.
disease.
Any of those things?
Scurvy.
No, Lyme's disease. Would you like lime?
Well, basically, you get Lyme's disease from eating too many
What
limes.
scurvy? I mean, you lot
No,
seem
that's
to
if
worry
you
about
have-
scurvy, don't
That's
you?
if you have too few citrus.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you enjoy your bacon and the egg. Here are some. Would you like some coffee? This is actually coffee.
Is it actually coffee?
Roll a perception check.
Yeah.
Ooh. I probably do
11.
as well. I got a 9.
It smells like coffee.
Very cautiously, just takes a sip.
What did
I
you?
guess.
What did you?
So 4 plus 7, which is 11.
11.
Yeah.
Both of you got 11.
I think I was imagining if anybody has travelled at all, you might suggest might be deceptively good coffee. Like this is definitely too good. I wonder if this floated off a boat.
Look,
I mean, I'm just happy it's coffee.
Yeah.
in my line of work, everything in my possession floats off a boat.
Absolutely.
Well, I reckon if it's my time to join Pharasma, it's my time to join Pharasma, so I'm going to risk the bacon quite happily. And I eat
Well, you'd be
what's
brave
left
and
on
risk the egg.
Minesh's plate as well.
You eat together, and the bacon is fine. And whatever animal it came from, it's still edible. It doesn't poison you or anything.
Yeah, I'm not going to skip out on a meal. It was a long day yesterday, and it's going to be a long day again today. I think we should make the most of it. I had a great night's sleep, and I'm ready to go.
Speaking of a long day, what's the plan, Gov? Mr. Bertie has hit the nail on the head. It's going to be a long day. We're going to go and chase down a guy in a clown show.
We're going to ride some fair rides, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
At the Grizzly Fair.
You're not here.
Do we need to?
Wait, at the
You should
window.
come back.
Minesh leans in the open window and is like, at the Grizzly Fair. Like, wow, the Deathless, she wants to go to the fair.
She's very excited.
She's got a very soft side to her as well.
Maybe she's never been to a fair before.
I don't think so.
If I win a hooker duck, you can have the prize. How about that?
Thanks.
What if the prize is a sunflower leshy?
That could be
Well, then
amazing.
she can enjoy killing the sunflower less.
And when you say sunflower leshy, Bethilde just like shutters.
Oh, God.
Yes, I think the Grizzly Fair seems to be the most pertinent.
Do we
Was-
have a map
Of the Grizzly Fair.
of how to get there?
Well, I
Well-
thought some of you were from Absalom. Were
It's
you
somewhere
not?
that way, and I just point vaguely, not
Can I-
knowing if it's the right
Bethilde,
direction.
Can I have a roll?
Based
to
on
see
your
if I
roll,
can-
based on your roll, when you
Pointing west.
based
Oh
on
yeah,
your
I had a really high roll. I had a nat 20. for
Yeah.
about the
know
Grizzly
the
Fair.
way, so I point precisely to it.
based on your roll, you know where it is. Yeah.
It's okay, I'll lead the way.
You know that you got similar information. You would
Okay.
roughly know that she's pointing in the right direction when she says, "I'll lead the
That
way,"
way.
and starts pointing
Okay.
west.
I mean, the
east.
real question is, do we need anything to fight any big, bad, naughty people in the Precipice Quarter?
Well,
Where's your snail?
Oh yes, but Beauregard, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. He
You
wasn't-
hear a trap door go, "Doom," and then out of the cellar comes crawling Beauregard, and he slithers up onto the bar and just stands there.
Oh, he's
Oh,
looking great.
Beauregard, you've come back. Did you have a nice rest? You know, you're definitely looking very fresh today.
To return,
Beauregard slithers down the other side of the bar and across the floor.
to return to your question, Barnaby did give us some helpful items.
I think I did spot some healing potions.
Yes, there were 4, so we should divide them up amongst those who would be best served by them.
Like me.
Do you want one?
You got something in your throat. Is it the bacon?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Don't worry, I can do the Himmlich maneuver.
I think I met him once.
Yeah, he died choking on a chorizo.
Chorizo. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I think that's what the bacon came from.
Oh, a chorizo. I've never heard of them.
Chupacabra's small sister.
Tasted great. Either way. Look forward to meeting one day.
As long as you don't run off by yourself again, Bethilde.
I didn't. I told you. You guys just hung behind too far.
As a crew, we stay together. Otherwise, the ship sinks.
We're not on a ship. Are you feeling all right this morning? I know it's very watery around here. This isn't a boat, darling.
And I think it's already sunk by the looks of it.
Actually, it's ship, first of all. And secondly, it's a metaphor.
What's a metaphor?
I think you'd be better off leaving this one well enough alone.
Well,
Many
yes.
years on the ships, across the ocean, sinking a lot of other people's boats, have taught me sometimes there's a fight you walk away from.
It's not a fight.
No, but this is a battle you can't win.
I can win any battle, you know that.
Only if you stab
It's all
it.
right, people. Don't fight. It's all right. We're going to go and go to the fair. Beauregard, would you like to go to the fair? You're going to bring your nice scarf and your nice hat. Yes, let's
Beauregard
go.
turns around and starts going back towards wherever he came from, and about 10 minutes later comes back with a little beret and a blue and white scarf tied around his neck.
Oh, don't you look fancy? Let's all go to the fair. You know, Beauregard,
Even as a familiar, this thing is bizarre.
he's very good at the coconut shy.
The
Oh,
what?
Coconut shy, you know the thing where you throw the balls at the coconuts and then they fall over and you get to keep a coconut?
You do know it might not actually be a fair. We're going to go and have to fight something.
No, I'm fairly
Right.
sure from my memory it's a delightful fair.
And how good is your memory?
As I recall, wonderful.
Great. Should we go to this fairground of delights then?
Yes.
Okay, so you set off and begin wandering across town from the puddles, weaving your way through a fairly destitute and run-down portion of the city, watching a lot of people in their small boats cross the various streets or run these tight ropes and rickety platforms above. And as you make your way all the way across Absalom to where the Precipice Quarter meets the edge of the docks, that is where we shall leave our episode, and we shall pick up with the Precipice Quarter next time.
You can find us on your favourite social media platforms. You'll find links in the description below.
Thanks as always to Syrinscape for the amazing atmosphere and music. Make sure you check them out at Syrinscape.com. You've just got to be using them at your gaming table because epic tales need epic music.
Thanks for listening. We've been Epic Tales and Critical Fails.